Yeah, it's your boy Brady Senior, man, giving you the OMFL news after dark. And man, your boy, yes, so going on. Your boy in the crosshairs, y'all. Your boy in the crosshairs. So, a lot has been going on in the league. A lot has been popping off now that we've gotten everything started. Week motherfucking 3 already, y'all. That lets you know the boys are hype about the game. You know, they're getting their games played and a lot is going on. Let's look at here. Let's get over here to this Daddy Leagues. But, yeah, man, we're going to talk a little bit about everything about the league, man. From players of the week to games of the week, you know, the previous week, and then what the matchup is this week. And talk about power rankings. Might even look at some of the stats. But, man, it is good to talk about the old MFL. This is your boy Brady C, man. Give me the news. We'll be right back after this. Yeah. I do my little dancey dance. Hey. Hey, what's good, everybody, man? It's your boy Brady C, man. You know, OMFL news after dark. Boy, this is like, ooh-wee. This is like 4th, 5th take, because, man, the rain. Talking about players of the week, boy, man, my rant came out, bro. And I'm trying to keep my mouth shut. Trying to keep my mouth shut, man. But hey, let's go ahead and talk about these players of the week, man. Terry McLaurin, spam alert, 10 catches, 247, 3 TDs, and then Darren Mitchell, 12 tackles on the defensive side. Darren Mitchell, 12 tackles, 0 sacks, 1 interception, and 0 forced fumbles. That was your week 2 players of the week, and yeah, man. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about, you know, wide receivers getting high amounts of receptions. You know what I'm saying? I mean, at this point, man, shit, throw it to your kids, throw it to your grandma, throw it to the pastor down the street. Like, I mean, man, get somebody else involved. You feel me? Like, we know we know your speed is there. Like, that's a given. But like, I mean, at some point, man, when does it become an abuse versus a tactic? Like, I mean, maybe I'm saying that wrong. Yeah, I'm saying that wrong. But let me know in the comments, man. That's ridiculous. Just saying. Just saying. Peace. RB tracks. Hey, girl. It's your boy Brady C. I'm trying to give you the news, but you being a bitch. Hey, girl, but you being a bitch. Anyway, man, what's good, everybody, man? It's your boy Brady C, man. Give me the OMFL news after dark. Hey, yo, Maniac, man. They ready for that Bono show to come back, bro. For playing games, man. Pretty sure you got time, homie, man. Time for you to dust the mic off and get back in rotation, fam. Back burner my ass. But anyway, man, let's go ahead and look at some of these offensive statistical leaders. Right now, Derek Carr leads all quarterbacks with 64.6 completions, 997 yards, 12.6 average, 63 long, 7 TDs, and 5 interceptions, and just 2 sacks. Over in the rushing side, Raheem Mostert, San Francisco 49ers, 72 carries, 402 yards, 5.6 average. It looks like he has 26 long, no fumbles, 320 plus yard runs, 3 broken tackles, and 5 TDs. It looks like he's running it. He's running it. But I just want you to know, Mr. Raheem, I just want you to know, my boy only got 39 carries and I'm only 96 yards from you, but just saying. BMO coming for that ass. Just putting you on notice. And then over here on the wide receiver side, man, you got Henry Ruggs with 13 catches, leading all receivers, 13 catches, 469 yards, 36.1 average, 63 long, 5 drops, 30 yards and yak, and then he's got 3 TDs. Let me know in the comments what you think about our current offensive statistical leaders. We'll be right back after this. Peace. Hey, what's good, everybody? Man, we back. Just gonna roll with this same sound. Yeah, girl. Now I need to get defensive with you. Rubbing on that. Boy, you better watch your mouth. It's your boy Brady Senior, man. Give me the OMFL News after dark. Oh, man. It's time to give you the defensive statistical leaders real quick. And it looks like leading off, well, it's a tie for sack leaders. It looks like Javon Kinlaw and Grady Jarrett are both tied at 5. They're both tied at 10 tackles apiece. And that's it. There is no other stats for neither one of those, but they're both tied for number 1 in the sack department. Over in the tackle department, Tremaine Edmonds out of Buffalo, 22 tackles, 1 sack, 2 deflections, 8. What the fuck is that? I'm just gonna say 8 catch attempts. I don't know. Don't get me lying. I don't know what that stat is. I'm gonna have to get in there and I'm gonna have to look at it. But that was Tremaine Edmonds, tackle leader. And then over in the interception leader, it looks like the interception leader goes to Ronnie Harrison. He has 14 tackles, 5 interceptions. He also has 4 deflections, and that is it. No TDs for my boy. No TDs. And then, of course, his teammate is tied for 2nd. So, yeah, Denzel Ward. So, yeah, the Brownies are doing a little bit of something over there. Let me know in the comments what you guys think about these defensive statistical leaders. And then we'll get over and talk about the way too soon playoff ratings. Yeah. Peace. What's good, everybody? It is now time for the way too soon playoff rankings. And we know these shits is gonna change. But since we talking about it, let's talk about it, shall we? AFC, currently number 1 seed is the Jaguars, followed by the Ravens at 2, Dolphins at 3, Chargers at 4, Browns at 5, Patriots at 6, Raiders at 7. On the bubble, you have the Steelers at 8, Bengals at 9, and the Broncos at 10. Looks like teams with losses in this area is the Jaguars, Patriots. You have while you have the Raiders, they're actually 1-2. And then you have everybody on the bubble at least has one loss as of right now. NFC side, you have Lions at 1, Falcons at 2, Seahawks at 3, Giants at 4, Vikings at 5, Panthers at 6, the Cowboys at 7, and then of course you have the Niners at 8, Chargers at 9, and the Saints at 10. Let me know in the comments what you think, man. Do you think a lot of these teams will represent that are currently the top 7s? Will they represent and make it to the playoffs, or do you think there will be some changes? Let me know, man. Let me know. Oh, but I do have something I want to say though, real quick. Let me tap my phone real quick. Let me tap my phone. Hey, D-Money, I need you to hear me, bro. No matter what's been said in the league, no matter what's been said on a week-to-week basis about your skills, bro, I'm gonna need you to lock in. I'm gonna need you to tap in, and I'm gonna need you to get this party started. It's time to get back to playing, homie. But I want another shot though. Just letting you know that though. Peace. Hey, what's good, everybody? Man, it's your boy Brady C. Give me the OMFL News After Dark, and man, let's talk about game of the week. It looks like it's been played. It looks like the Baltimore Ravens were able to get the win 35-30 over the Lions. And let's talk about some honorable mentions from this game. Lamar Jackson was 21 for 29, 368, 3 TDs, and 1 interception. Edwards ran for 38 yards, 3 touches, 38 yards, 1 TD. Andrews had 5 catches, 195 yards, and 1 TD. It looks like Booth had 7 tackles attempted or assisted. And then the Lions, they had Montez 15 for 25, 275, 2 TDs, no picks. Murray had 14 carries, 62 yards, 1 TD. Benson had 2 receptions, 30 yards, 1 TD. And Pittman also had 7 tackles as well. Looking at the team stats, I mean, on paper, just look like offensively, it looks like the Ravens were just a bigger challenge. Third down percentage also played a key, 57-40 in favor for the Ravens. In looking at player stats, checking some of these tag numbers here. 2 for the Ravens, 9 for the Lions. So definitely wasn't. Lions wasn't able to get too much pressure on Lamar Jackson, and the rest is history. But with that being said, man, I'm gonna get out of here. I think I've ran over my time, and need to get you guys over to the Press Pass Live with Nate and Coach Wynn. But I'm out of here, y'all. It's been real. Peace.
This is the OMFL.
You can't touch this.
And you're in the mix with Kinda Real Nate. Here's another OMFL production.
Welcome to Press Pass Live. Sorry for the pause there. I thought I timed it just right, and I clearly did not time it just right. I'm so glad that you're here with me. Thanks for hanging out. Tonight's going to be a fun night. We got a great show planned for you. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Brady with the great news. Thank you, Brady, for spitting that out. Brady, I see you in the chat. You got banned. I think you had a word that was all capitalized with a bunch of question marks, and well, YouTube doesn't like that, and they delete those messages, and I think they cool you off for a couple minutes. So I hope that you guys are all doing okay and hanging out with me. We're going to jump right into the show, but first, let me welcome my guy, Winnevis. Winnevis, how you doing tonight, bud?
I am as well as can be expected on a Sunday evening where my Saints choked away an 11-point lead to the winless Giants.
It was a tough weekend of football.
Oh yeah, that LSU game was spot on too, right? Go other Tigers.
Yeah, it was like the Saints got the offensive game plan from Coach Orgeron himself as he crumbled it up and threw it out in the trash. Somebody grabbed that up and rushed it over to Sean Payton immediately. It was a tough weekend, man. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It was blah. This is.
Yeah, that's about how the Saints game plan went today.
Here we go. I'm already starting. This is how important football is in this state and especially in this city. I now cannot watch ESPN for the week, college sports for the week. I can't listen to sports talk radio for the week. Like, people on Twitter saying fire Peyton tonight. That is how emotionally invested people here are. We're crazy as all hell, but they've ruined sports for me. I now have to pick up knitting or something on the side to keep me busy until next week's game. So, thank you, Smash, for pointing out that LA Tech also lost, which doesn't really bother us as much for some reason. Even Tulane doesn't bother us as nearly as much. So we're going to jump right into it. We're going to look at some screenshots. We got some fun screenshots here. I'm going to try to roll through these as quick as I possibly can. The Jets posted a couple of these for us. The first one is Adrian Peterson back and running at the clock. He rushed for 104 yards in this week 2 game against the Panthers, with the Jets coming away with a 23-10 victory. The second one here is going to be Javelin Guidry. He picks off Sam Darnold for his first interception. And then finally his import, the Jets import, Zach Hayes. He comes over into Madden 21 and makes his presence felt. He gets his first sack of the year against Sam Darnold, and the Jets with a big victory right there in week number 2 against the Carolina Panthers. I think we got some Giants here. Do we? It says Giants versus Washington football team. And guess what? I don't have any of those. So I guess technically, Pepper, if you watch this, I got to remove that one because there's technically nothing there. And then we have the Falcons versus the Buccaneers. Also not there, so we don't have to worry about that one at all. I think, guys, in week 2, we're still trying to figure out exactly how this whole thing works. Then we got the Patriots and the Jets. It says weeks 2, but since the Jets played the Panthers in week 2, then the Pats couldn't have played the Jets in week 2, but also not here. But let's look into week number 1. It's L1. Yeah, that's what my guy taught me. Nope, it is not there. So, here we go. Oh, there they are. We found them. So we can now go back. Here we go. Giants versus the Washington football team. They take advantage with interceptions of the Washington football team. Danny Dimes bounces back after a rough week 1. We got Ingram with a touchdown right here. Let's see what else we got here. We got Jackson with a big interception right there. My goodness, that looked like it was thrown right to him. For number 3, it was Bradbury with a big pick of Sims there. Rob turning the ball over a lot here. And then Ross getting behind the defense right there for a touchdown. So there you have the Giants and the Washington football team. I got to figure out a much better way to do this. We'll figure this out for the next time. This is the first time that we're trying to do this. This is the Falcons and the Buccaneers. Falcons defense led by the superstar Devin Royals, who I think was an import, gets 4 interceptions off of Hall of Fame bound Tom Brady, helping the team to a 33-21 win over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And let me just tell you, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers were fuming after this game. This happened like really late on a Friday or Saturday night. I think it was a Saturday night or something. I forget what night, but it was late one night, and the Buccaneers were not a happy bunch as they look back on this one. Now let's get over that Patriots and Jets game. Here we go. Patriots and Jets. Pats win 30-24. The first one is going to be Eric Ross, his import. So Eric Ross coming over, Eric Boss, not Ross, Eric Boss, comes over from Madden 20. Wait, we're in Madden 22. Madden 21 to Madden 20. I don't know what we're in. You know what we're in. He ties up the game 7-7 with a big pick six. Boss wanted to stand out with vets like Gilmore and McCourtney in the backfield. Today, he made an impression with a huge play. And then number 2 right here is Harris returns a kickoff to take a, I don't know what word that's supposed to be. It says widen. Oh, I think to widen, not to take widen the lead, but to widen the lead in the second half. Pat's special teams has been a surprise through 2 weeks, helping get great field possession. This quick touchdown is just what the team needed to help beat a tough division foe. So there you have the Patriots and the Jets with a really good game right there. And then the final, oh no, we got 2 more. We got the 49ers over the Eagles in overtime, 30-24. Let's see if we can find the 49ers. We've got no 49ers. I think he was one of the ones that could not figure out the whole snapshot, so we'll take that one out. But the 49ers are the big victory over the Philadelphia Eagles. And then finally, and then we're going to take a breath here in just a second. Denbrew gets a week 2 victory over the Bears and smash 19-16. I think that's going to be this game right here. He says, with the game scoreless early in the quarter number 2, it's 2nd and 4 from the Cincinnati's own 46-yard line. I love the detail. Joe Burrow hands the ball to Joe Mixon on a counter to the left side. Both Chicago Bear outside linebackers attack the line of scrimmage on a blitz. Backside guard pulls, cleaning up the safety coming down, leads to an untouched touchdown for the game's first score. And you can see Mixon breaking it off there to the left side, and a big touchdown there for the Cincinnati Bengals. 2 more games in week number 3, and then we'll look at the rest of them next week as we look at week number 4. There's the one highlight of my Saints game as I got whipped by the New England Patriots. But we're not talking about that game. We're going to talk about the Seahawks and the Vikings. Seahawks win 21, or they lose 21-36 against the Vikings. Rarely do you see a team submit photos about a loss, but I think it's going to actually come from Minnesota. Here we go. Here's Minnesota, and it says the Seahawks started out with a bang, going up 13-0 mid in the second quarter. I got to make these words so much bigger. My old eyes can't hardly look at this. Massey's first throw would be picked off by the Seahawks, and things looked bad for the purple guys, but Massey kept his cool in the game and would go on a tear, throwing for 3 touchdowns, 72%. Cooks did work on the ground late in the second half, putting away the game with a score on the board as we see Cooks running away with one right here. We'll look at a couple of these others. A 37-yard touchdown run by Cooks. Maniac is actually going to do an all-22 about how to do these photos. Justin Jefferson there with a nice-looking catch. And there's Massey. And it bothers the hell out of me that Massey has almost every piece of equipment that you can put on a player. And Maniac loves doing that, and it drives me insane. Like, why is this man wearing gloves and a coaching band, and he's got long sleeves on and a dome? Why does he have a blackout shade on his face? Why does he have like a pacifier mouth? Stop it, Maniac. You're too much with these players. All right, let's see if the 49ers were able to figure this out. I think he was. 49ers with a big victory this week as well. An early surprise in the OMFL, 27-24 against the Packers. First, Nick Bosa. It says Nick Bosa picks off a tip pass, but that, my friend, is not Nick Bosa. That would be Nick Bosa, and returns it for a touchdown for the first play of the game. There's one thing you can count on. and that is that our guy Priest is going to throw some picks. I love these San Francisco throwback 75-year anniversary jerseys. Actually, bring back all the 75-year anniversary jerseys because those things were spectacular across the league. My favorite year of jerseys in the NFL. The second one was Roby Gold's game-winning field goal as time expires. He actually doesn't have this one here, but number 27, who was that? That was Damon Green gets a pick for 8 yards. And then here we have the game winner as Roby Gold gets a 28-yard field goal. I love these jerseys. Anytime I think about swapping teams, I either want the Falcons because of their red jerseys or I want to go to the 49ers for these jerseys right here. Those are freaking awesome. And then finally, the Patriots and the Saints come down to a tough game. New England kind of handed it to me pretty good here. I'm going to read to you what he's got here. Number one, he's got Harris ran for 109 yards and 2 touchdowns with the stingy front seven of the Saints. James White also added in another 44 yards on the ground. And you can see Roby taking it right in the chest like a man. And then number 2, McCourtney gets one of his 2 zings for the day, which I know is not what he probably meant to put. Maybe he did. Maybe zings is a word. I don't know. Pats picked the Saints 5 times, 3 for Mac Jones in the game, riddled with turnovers, bad quarterback choices. Yep, thank you. Appreciate that. And wrong buttons being pushed. That's me. He's talking about me right there. Swung the game momentum, and his bad quarterback run on 3rd down kind of opened up some things. And the New England Patriots come away with a big victory. Okay, that probably wasn't the most riveting stream that you ever seen, but I'm trying to figure out, like, this is the first time we're trying this shoe on. We're just trying to figure out, like, how can we start putting in these snapshots and putting some stories behind them. We'll work on it. I promise. I'll make it better. But now that I've talked for 20 minutes straight, what early surprises, games, things stuck out to you, Winovus, that just you're like, hey, that was a good game, or that was a great snapshot, or hey, I caught the end of this game and it really caught my attention?
To be fair, I've been catching a lot of the games after the fact. I've been doing a lot more with my work the way it is. I do a lot more scouting now, watching tape after games and stuff. But I did catch, I believe, I want to say it was like Miami, Las Vegas maybe, or somebody. I want to say I watched Miami. I think Las Vegas was a half, which was a pretty decent game. I did watch today the Chargers-Raiders game, which was a good one. Been a lot of interesting upsets early in the season. I say upset because I know, like, guys like Double are typically, not normally in a running for anything, but yet right now, I mean, yeah, it's early in the season, but he is technically in 3rd place, but he's 2-2 right there with D Money. So Double, take a picture of that and kind of frame that, because that's nice to tell your grandkids about, really. But looking at the standings so far, Vikings are I didn't think they'd be there at 4-0, going 4 games in. Falcons, with that roster, is kind of a surprise that they got the early lead on the division. I expected the Buccaneers and Saints to put up more of a fight. Seahawks, that's kind of a little bit of a surprise because, like I said, once D-Money checks in and actually gets his head in here, he's gonna win. He's gonna run away with that division. Bill can enjoy that lead while he's got it now.
Ooh, a little foreshadowing about what we're going to talk about tonight.
I'm just telling you. Giants, Cowboys sharing the lead in that division. Pepper's going to be a tough opponent for the Cowboys all season long. AFC South is almost like I predicted, where the Jags are 3-1 early. Titans are 2-2, but they're a tough 2-2. Colts are sitting waiting on their 4th game. They'll play tomorrow against the Dolphins. They're 2-1, sitting technically 2nd in the division because they beat the Titans last week. AFC North, that's kind of a little bit of a surprise because I don't know much about Nipple, but he appears to be checked in right now. He's 3-0, leading that division. AFC West is not a terrible surprise to me. Chargers, Broncos, Raiders. The Chiefs are the huge surprise, actually being at the bottom of that division. But I would like to toot my own horn and say I called that, saying they'd go 0-3 to start the season. I do believe they went 0-3 to start the season. So they had a tough schedule starting out. And then in the AFC East, you got the Dolphins leading it up at 3-0, Patriots at 2-2. Dolphins are kind of classing out right now. I know they made a big trade earlier today. They got Jerry Jeudy from the Denver Broncos.
It sure did.
For Devontae Parker in kind of a little bit of, not really a blockbuster, but that's a pretty big trade, honestly. Dolphins trying to build Alabama East Side. So he's trying to get together as many Alabama folks as he can, as being a Crimson Tide fan, and hopefully it'll do him well, because I think Judy's going to be a good asset for them going forward, going with Waddle and right now Will Fuller, but I think Will Fuller leaves at the end of the season. I can see the Dolphins becoming an Alabama powerhouse, and there's a ton of Alabama prospects in the NFL that would be very good in the teal and orange. So hadn't got a chance to catch a lot of games live like I want to, but I've been watching them after the fact, and it's been some pretty decent competition. There hasn't been a lot of that I've seen of like just games that are like just painful to watch. Unfortunately, most of those games that I've watched that have been painful to watch have been games that involve the silver and the gold and the gold and black and the NFC South. I'm just saying. It's been rough, man. I've actually been asking, am I actually user in these games? Because this looks familiar.
Hey, look, I'm starting to find my groove though. The second half against the Pepper and the Giants was much better. And, it's
I will agree with that. You did the exact opposite of what the Saints did today. You stunk in the first half and got better in the second half. They were good in the first half and stunk in the second half. So you're kind of mimicking the real life Saints in a way. You just need to figure out a way to unleash the offense, and once you get that figured out, I think you'll get back where you need to be. But right now, you're trying to find that footing right now.
Yep, but you bring up a lot of great points, and I want to point out a couple teams that have really caught my eye early on here, and I'm going to give you a little early contender-pretender, not a full contender-pretender, where we break down possible playoff teams, but I want to hear from you, and I'll give my thoughts, of course, about which of these early division leaders in the NFC are real and which of them are real fake. And so we got the Vikings. I don't know why I said Giants because we were talking about them. The Vikings with an early 4-0 lead over the NFC North. We got the Falcons with an early 3-1 lead over the NFC South. We got the Giants with an early 3-1 lead over the NFC East. Technically tied with the Cowboys, but Madden's got them first, and so we're going to talk about them. And then the Seahawks with the early 3-1 lead over the NFC West. So we got Seahawks, we got Giants, we got Falcons, and we got Vikings. Which one of those teams are real, and which of those teams are real fake?
Okay, well, I'm looking at the four, and if I have to pick a contender, just a single contender out of the four, I'm going to go ahead and take the Fail Clowns, as painful as it is to say. I feel like the Panthers are in rebuild mode.
Even with their 60 overall quarterback.
Well, look, it was funny you mentioned that. That was brought up in chat, and I went and looked at the guy's stats, and if you look at his accuracy ratings and his throw power, they actually aren't bad. It's his awareness that is in the toilet.
Yeah.
So that's what drives his overall down. His accuracy ratings are pretty solid. They're actually fairly close to my guy I'm starting, Jacob Eason, who's a 64 overall. So, I mean, I could see him having success with that quarterback. I mean, should he have monumental success, like be top 10 in passing and stuff? No, but I think if he runs a solid game plan with that guy, I think he can do all right with Philippe Franks at the helm, because he does have the attributes you want in a quarterback, minus awareness, which doesn't matter for a Madden player. So I would say the Falcons are probably my contender. In the North, the Vikings. A great story. Maniac's doing very well, 4-0. I think he's going to come back to earth. I think he comes back to earth. I think he's a pretender at this point. I think Trey and the Lions kind of jump in there and starting to take over this division a little bit going forward, and I think the Vikings are going to come back to earth really quickly, and I have a feeling it's going to be a painful fall back to earth.
Now, Matt,
play next week.
We play next
Trey.
week, so there you go.
Trey's sitting over in the bushes, like we're trying to act like he wasn't here, but he's listening. You can hear him heavy breathing that microphone from time to time.
I can't. And Trey, I will tell you right now, I have a feeling I will go ahead and stick my neck on the line right now and throw it out there. Lions beat Vikings next week. There you go.
Ooh, Jesus.
All right.
Let me put this out there, though. Look, when Maniac is playing well, it's when his quarterback is playing well. And right now, he's leading the NFC North in yards with 1,099, 11 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 73% completion percentage. On paper, he's got the best quarterback in this division.
That's wonderful. That's wonderful. He hasn't played a guy like the Lions yet.
That's fair.
He hasn't played a guy like the Lions yet. So Vikings are a pretender.
But at least
NFC
his
West
receivers are leading his team in receiving. Trey.
Oh, shots fired! I wasn't going to do that. I wasn't going to do that. This is supposed to be a civil discourse. If the
I'm sorry,
Titans open, the Titans
I keep interrupting
open, right?
you. I keep interrupting you, Win. Please carry
It's
on.
okay. It's okay. NFC West, Bill. Take a snapshot of that day because that might be the last time you lead the NFC West unless it's Week 1. Because D Money's here. D Money is going to shut you down. I said it at the beginning last week when we first started this league up. I said once D Money checks in, that division's his. There is no ifs, there is no ands, there are no buts. Until D Money says, I don't want this division anymore here, somebody else can have it, it's D Money's division. And since D Money has not came out in chat and said that somebody else can have the division, D Money's winning the division. Bill, love you. You'll get in second place. You'll get a wild card. You'll get a wild card.
Four
and in the
of
NFC
the top
East,
5 tackles in the NFC West all belong to the Cardinals. Just throwing that out there.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That doesn't surprise me. Doesn't surprise me. Tell me something I would be surprised by as far as D Money is concerned. You know,
Fair.
he's 32nd in offense. That would surprise me. He's 32nd in defense. That would surprise me. And in the NFC East, I will say, it's going to hurt me to say this, Pep, but I have a feeling that I think D-Wayne's going to beat you out. I think you're going to be a contender for a little while. I think you'll hang there. You got puncher's chances in every game. I think you've got a good thing with Saquon and with the weapons you have on offense, and you've got Denny Dimes throwing some dimes. I did watch that game against the Saints, and sorry, Nate, he looked good in the second half. He looked good in the second half. He really did. And in the first half, honestly, he looked good just throughout. I don't think he made too many mistakes at all. He made a couple here and there, but he's got that Giants offense humming. He's got that Giants offense humming. But I do think D-Wayne and the Cowboys are just going to be too much. I do think Pepper of the people I'm putting in the pretenders category, I think he's the one that's going to stay a contender the longest of the other guys in this discussion. So one contender and 3 pretenders. There you go.
I can't argue with anything that you threw out there. I think Cardinals are definitely going to take this division, with the asterisks being he just decides to go on vacation for another month or whatever he does. I actually don't keep up with him. It just feels like he's always out of town. And so unless he does that, and then Bill has plenty of chances, Bill is definitely going to be a wild card team. Look, D-Money and Pepper are going to go hand in hand. If I'm putting my money on the tape, it's Dakota. What's up, Dakota? Good to see you in the chat, buddy. We miss you. We wish you'd come back. Hurry up and get life figured out with this baby, like the rest of us humans on the planet, okay? And come back. If Pepper could ever stay out of Pepper's way, Pepper's a good football player. He proved it with the Seahawks last Madden, constantly in the playoffs, not pushing for like a championship, but he was growing that team and really finding his footing. He's found it now, but Pepper has, and I got to admit, in my game, he showed me something. Usually 1 or 2 bad things start to go wrong, and Pepper unravels completely. He's angry. He plays mad. He starts to attack you. He actually didn't do any of that against me. He didn't. I caught him in one blitz, but he's got a bad habit all out blitzing at bad times. But he didn't try to angry blitz me, which I've seen before. He didn't try to push the ball down the field. He made pretty good decisions. But look, Dwayne is Dwayne, probably the most consistent football player here, day in, day out, and I got to put my money right there. I'm going to save the NFC South. I'm going to come back because it's going to lead to a rant. I do like the Vikings to win this game, and it's all because of the quarterback play. I just think, I know Trey will probably unmute and heavy breathe on us again, but look, I just think if I've got to pick quarterbacks here, I'm taking Massey. And right now, Maniac has Massey playing really, really well. I will say there's a dark horse in this race in the Bears. I know he's at 1-3, but Smash can play good football if he puts the things together. Trey's going to be pushing. These two are going to fight it all the way to the very end. I'm just going by quarterback play only. History would tell me that Trey's going to win this division. He's going to win it running away at the end, and that may happen. But I like the quarterback play that I'm seeing from the Vikings, and I'm coming back for the South. I'm actually going to take the Falcons to win this one, but I will say this, and this is with Trey in here, and I think this affects him, Trey, hearing you win. I don't keep up with everybody's team. I didn't know until you said it about your quarterback. We are testing some settings. So, oh gosh, why am I opening? Why do I do this to myself, Win? Okay. Every
you don't
Madden
have to.
Up, this is true. Every Madden up to Madden 19, maybe 18, 19, the quarterback accuracy, it feels like quarterback accuracy if you watch me play. The quarterback accuracy on sliders was always set between 22 and 25. That is every league we ever played in. We lowered that baby way down to have a realistic gameplay so that the 60 overall quarterbacks of the world with 70s throwing accuracies didn't feel just like the 90 overall quarterbacks that have 90 accuracies. Like we can all agree there should be a difference between those two. And there is a 100%. Line. There's always like finding that floor, because when you cross it in Madden, you instantly can tell, because even the Tom Brady's of the world start freaking slinging the ball all over the place, and you're like, what the hell? In Madden 18 or 19, that number had to be really high. And Maniac used to test with me back in the day because there was like a hair trigger in the 40s, and when you crossed it, it didn't matter who you had. I remember that one Madden. I don't remember where I was. I think it may have been last Madden in October. I think I went on vacation to Universal, and we adjusted quarterback accuracy, and I think we hit the floor, and I got like 100 messages that day about like every quarterback throwing it everywhere and throwing like 900 picks, and we had to come back to it. So I do think, though, whatever they may have changed has changed for this Madden. And I've already tested it at 23, where I personally think the number is. It needs way more testing. The change isn't coming soon. And the honest truth is it probably won't come this season. It will probably come in the restart. The question is, does the restart happen this season or not? But anyway, that's debatable. I do see a change coming. And if you have those 70s throwing accuracy quarterbacks, you better do what Win said, and you better come up with a game plan. Because if the game plan is to sit back and throw it around like you're Tom Brady and go 17 for 19 for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and 1 pick, it shouldn't happen. It should be a rarity. And right now it's not a rarity, which is why I'm pushing for our board to test the 23 accuracy, which in my test, which was Mac Jones. I just totally missed my finger there. It was Mac Jones versus, I almost called him Aaron Brooks because that's what he looked like today, but Jameis Winston. And both had a couple of errant throws. Both are in the 70s. Both should have errant throws, but both also threw some nice dimes, some nice deep balls. Like if you were in the pocket, clean pocket, feet set, you would make a nice accurate throw. But if you were moving around in the pocket, and sometimes your deep throw was not pinpoint accuracy as it should be. So anyway, that's where I'm pushing. And I think the reason I bring this up, the Falcons, is because he's been the hot button topic about his quarterback. His guy's playing unbelievably good football right now. I think it would totally dramatically change the NFC South. And I think it would change Trey as well, because I think you wouldn't be able to just roll out there with just anybody and keep winning football games. Even though I will say Trey has proven in the past to be able to scheme up good quarterback play. I mean, like he took Worthington, who was he was a very good quarterback, but had not had a very good career in the OMFL and like created what, if he would have been with Trey the whole time, a Hall of Fame resume. Just wasn't with Trey the whole time, so it wasn't a Hall of Fame resume. But so I'm saying that I do see Trey making the adjustment. I haven't seen Kobe be able to make that adjustment in the past. Now, he went out and got some quarterbacks that he had to build up, but he also had to take some steps back before those quarterbacks were built up. So anyway, I just went on a long rant to say I totally agree with Wim. I do like the Vikings to win the North. And when we change that quarterback accuracy, unless the board just like totally is like ready to murder me and tells me no. You like that, Ross? I'm a Cajun. Talk with my hands. I think it's going to dramatically change the quarterback play here. And I think, I shouldn't say that. I think it should matter if you have a good young quarterback or a veteran or someone that you've built up who's in the 80s, 90s. Like they should be different than somebody who's rolling out a 63 overall quarterback. And last thing, and then we'll move to the next subject, which is the AFC. The person who did this perfect was Dwayne. Dwayne drafted like Dwayne, tell me in chat, but I think this guy had to be like 63 overall in the draft. Like he was as bad. I think he had like 86 or 87 throwing power. He was terrible. And Dwayne had to scheme him to get wins that season. Didn't go deep in the playoffs. I'm pretty sure he made the playoffs, but didn't make a good run. But then the next year, after building him up, he was able to make a run and I think won the bowl with that quarterback. But it took him a year to build him up. And so, anyway, I just think it adds in a different layer of strategy, and it should be a thing in our league. So, there's my rant about quarterback accuracy. Yeah, please, Trey.
My main step in.
Where did Trey just like is an uninvited co-host of Press Pass Live? He didn't ask to be here. He didn't tell me he was going to be here. He just comes out of the woodwork, just like out of the bushes, like, "Hey, wait, I got something to say." I'm just picking with you, Trey.
Hey, I jumped the border to come chat. Just
almost
going over
my water out everywhere.
Just check.
I'm pretty sure in 2021 we can't say jump the border. Okay.
That's fine. I took an airplane over. We'll call it that way. I was just looking at the Falcon stats. He's only really had one big game that's astronomically outrageous for a low overall quarterback. And that would be his game versus the Buccaneers, right through for 409 yards.
He was slinging it like the high school quarterback on prom night. He was putting it everywhere.
Yeah, he decided to be Matt Saracen.
Yeah, again, way more testing has to be done.
For sure.
That is the asterisk on everything that I've said tonight. I think we can all agree that low overall quarterbacks with low throwing accuracies, and I consider 70s low throwing accuracies for a starting quarterback, have become an option this Madden because a lot of us are doing it. Wynn has decided to go that direction. You have. The Falcons have. I think there's a couple other teams that have decided to go that direction. And I don't think that it should be taken off the table, but I do think, like, I know the Dwaynes, the Wins, even you, Trey, like there's some schemes. There's some teams built around what those quarterbacks do and don't do well. I don't think that has to be schemed as hard, though, because there isn't the gap between a 78 throwing accuracy and a 90 throwing accuracy is very, very minute. It's offensive linemen. It's defensive ends, right? We can all agree that, like, right now in these settings, a stud defensive end, it's never happened in Pepper. Stud defensive ends and stud offensive linemen right now just don't matter all that much, and you can ship them, get a big bundle back, and put an average guy out there and get about the same stats. I think that's what we're seeing with quarterback. And I think that's the position that we can control with a slider, and we need to at least look at it.
Definitely. Like I told you the other night, it feels like Goff is the lower overall and Montez is the higher overall.
Yeah.
And I will say I was going to just add real quick before we jump to AFC. I know Jacob Beeson got mentioned. That's my quarterback that I'm starting, who's a 64 overall. And I will state his attributes right now. Short accuracy is 81, medium accuracy is 75, his deep accuracy is 73. So yeah, he's got nice. 81 is nice, the short accuracy. And here's the thing about Jacob Beeson. Through 3 games, he has 479 yards passing. Philippe Franks had 406 in 1 game. So clearly I'm definitely not blowing the doors off of anybody with Jacob Eason slinging the ball around like it's the second coming of Jesus. So I do have I basically, I mean, if you go watch my 3 games, I'm not telling you any secrets here. I play a short passing game. I play a safe passing game. I play West Coast style. Try to move the chains as best I can. I take very few chances down the field. I'm giving away all my secrets here because I'm going to start losing here any second now anyway. It's 11:59. My 12 o'clock is going to hit. My midnight's going to hit any second now, and Cinderella is going to turn into a pumpkin. But anyway, I don't play a bomb heavy offense. That's never been my style. And so Jacob Eason with that short accuracy and that arm, because he does have 92 throw power, he basically fits my current play style. Now, if I get his accuracy up a little bit, I might start taking some more chances down the field a little bit. And I do take a chance every once in a while if I see it. But typically if I look and within the first second and a half or 2, I don't think it's going to open up, I check down. I don't waste the time waiting for the play to develop. I check down and get the ball out as quick as possible because Eason ain't running anywhere. Eason is a stone back there, so just basically I play a ball control offense, which is usually run on first down, run on second down, incomplete pass on third down, punt, and I hope my defense can do a pick 6 or 3. So basically that's how I've been living. So there's my Eason rant. I'm done. Let's go to the AFC.
I got to stop wearing cologne whenever I host Press Pass Live because it is attracting people from like Smash popped in here. Like, where's all these people coming from? Just randomly. Smash, what's up, buddy?
Well, I'm gonna just say something about the NFC North with the Vikings and the Lions. The Vikings probably gonna take the division. You better take it now because the Lions have all those draft picks, and that's
true.
all I got to say.
Smash, you're 100% right.
Even after the game we just played, and I came back. God damn you, Smash!
It's going to get ugly. I think really, really fast for the NFC North. I love Smash just coming out of nowhere. I know it's like impromptu interviews with all of our buddies. Okay, Win, I'm going to throw this one at you. AFC. Who's the top dog in the yard over there? We got the Dolphins at 3-0, the Ravens at 3-0, Browns at 3-1, Chargers at 3-1, Jaguars at 3-1, Broncos at 2-1, and then a couple Colts at 2-1, couple 2-2 teams. Who's the top dog over in the AFC?
Oh, geez. I'd probably say I watched today, and the Chargers played pretty well, but they did get beat by the Raiders. So, giving them their first loss on the season. Ravens, I haven't seen play a whole lot. I would like to watch the game they're supposed to play tomorrow evening to kind of get an idea of how the Ravens are playing right now. I know that Massimo and the Browns are pretty decent as far as the play style of the player itself. Brady is an interesting card in and of himself just because of the run game. I did watch a little bit of one of his games because I do play him in a couple of weeks. Miami's interesting. I hadn't got a chance to watch Miami a whole lot. But watching the Patriots and even watching the Jets, I think that's going to be a really tough division. I know the Jets are listing at 1-3 right now. Patriots are 2-2. But the Dolphins better keep winning. Thankfully, they have a fairly decently winnable game, in about 12 hours with the Colts. So, I mean, that's at worst, it's a 50-50 toss-up game. So, Dolphins are interesting, and I like that weapon they just got in Jerry Jeudy. I think that's going to be really scary. He's acquiring a lot of speed out there at the wide receivers position, and I don't know if anybody's going to have the cornerback talent to keep up with it. So if he ever gets that bomb-heavy offense going where he just kind of throws heave-hos down the field and hopes that his receivers can just run past folks, I don't know of a whole lot of cornerback rooms that are going to have the speed to keep up with all those wide receivers he has, because he has some heavy speed right now, especially acquiring Jeudy, already having Waddle and Will Fuller. Those are some speed demons. But I would not sleep, even though they're 1-3, and you didn't mention them, I would not sleep on the Kansas City Chiefs. If he figures out some pass rush or scheming some defense, I think the Chiefs can still make a comeback. It might be too little too late this season, but if Penguins gets it turned on and figures out this Madden cycle, he'll be dangerous. But I wouldn't sleep on the Chiefs. That offensive talent, there's a ton of it. I like the Browns. I like the Ravens. There's a ton of really good teams. I don't know about the Jaguars because they do have some offensive line struggles. I know they picked up Rodney Hudson, and what I will say here is the steal of the deal for D-Money. But I would not have acquired a 32-year-old center for a young, promising cornerback any day of the week. I don't care how bad my O-line is. But I don't see anybody else in the AFC South that challenges the Jaguars, so I'd probably take Jaguars in the South. I'll take Browns in the North just because in case Nipple kind of goes on hiatus for work. I think the Browns take the division in the North. The West, that's going to be a crapshoot, honestly. I'll take Chargers at this point just because the Chiefs have kind of underwhelmed early. I don't know if they will have the ability to come back, but they definitely have the skill at the sticks to come back. And then the East, oh boy, you know what? I'm gonna give it Roll Tide Roll. There you go. That's the first and last time you ever hear me say that on a broadcast. Roll Tide Roll. Ross is going to take the AFC East.
Question for me was who's the top dog right now? And you did mention a couple of teams that I think are very interesting. I can't go Dolphins, and here's why. 73 points for him in 3 games, 49 against him. Great, amazing defense, but 73 points isn't going to cut it. And even though, Ross, I love you, you're grabbing all these Bama receivers, good on you. You go ahead and you put together Bama South all you want. You're a run team, and unlike our buddy Wynn, who clearly knows who he is and builds a team around himself, I think you've gotten caught into the Bama fever, and you forgot that you're actually a run-first team. And when you have played the best football here, it's when you're an unstoppable run game and you have an amazing defense. So this high-flying Bama South thing that you're trying to do, I'm not really feeling it personally. I think the Ravens are the top team right now, with the Browns and Jags hot on their tail, and Chargers. The only reason I'm not saying Chargers, Browns, Jags is because they've lost the game. That's how records work, right? Correct me, Win, but 3-0 is better than 3-1, right?
Yeah, by percentage points, it is better. Yes.
Yes. Okay. Just making sure. So I know I didn't go to a big lake like you or Grand Lake, but Sulphur education in Southwest Louisiana is still fairly decent to teach us that record-wise, percentage-wise, 3-0 is better than 3-1 right now. I got to go Ravens. They play great defense. I like that gap, but I will say, Browns, Chargers, Jags are all right there. They're going to be pushing for it. I mean, look at the Jags, 114 for them, great offense. He's got that run game going. He's got a young quarterback, running back. He'll zigzag you all day long. Matter of fact, Brady, just so that you know, crosshairs don't exist. The only crosshairs that I have are right here on this camera so that I can make sure that I'm in focus. That's the only crosshairs that exist in this league. So that other thing, I don't really know what we were talking about. But 71 points against, that's going to put him on the top half of the AFC, the OMFL, period. He plays great defense, and he's going to get this, as we all will. We're going to get the settings where we get good pass rush.
Can you do me a favor and humor me and go look at the Colts points for and points against?
Sure. The problem is the Colts are so far down the list. I just didn't see them.
That doesn't surprise me. But
My bad. 81 for them, 37 against. It's really impressive, especially with the quarterback play that you have right now. Beat the Dolphins this week, though, and then you're going to raise some eyebrows. You see, this is when, though. I told you guys this. You guys didn't want to listen to me. I told you this. Wynn does this to us, right? He's trying to sell us this crap soup that he's bad. I'm not a good player. I'm going to win 4 games this entire match. And now he wants credit for being one of the top teams in the AFC.
No, whoa, no.
Wynn wants that pie and eat it too.
I wanted you to compare Dolphins numbers versus Colts numbers because my numbers are not that much better.
You didn't go out there and trade for a bunch of Bama speed, though, and you said the Dolphins were a top team in the AFC. I said pump the brakes. Let's let him prove it because 73 points ain't nothing to get too excited about just yet.
That is true. I will give you that.
My thing for the Dolphins and Ross is when he has played, now he could prove me wrong. So far, history tells us when he has played his best football is when he is a great runner and plays amazing defense. And you don't need Jerry Jeudy and all these other ex-Bama receivers to be able to do that. So we'll see. We'll see if we can figure it out. I think the Ravens have played really great football on both sides. The Browns have put up 151 points for them. You put up that many points, you're going to give up some points because the guys are passing the ball a lot to catch up. And look at the Chargers, 139. He's right there on the Browns, but he's only given up 98. These are some really, really good teams. I think that'll be a fun matchup. I don't know if I'll be able to call it. I'd love to call it, though, between the Dolphins and the Colts. That'll be a really, really fun one. So right now, I'm just calling it today, week 4, in the middle of week 4. I like the Ravens so far, but I do think a lot's gonna change as we continue to go on here. So we're gonna move over to some mailbag questions. Let's see if this. Yes, there we go. It worked. I want to make sure that it all worked. Let's see if it'll let us interact here. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. Look at that. It's so beautiful when things work the way they're supposed to work. Trey, you submitted 2 questions. You're here. Do you remember the questions that you submitted, sir?
I believe I asked who is your breakout player so far after 4 seasons.
You actually asked one before that. You asked what's been the biggest surprise of season 97. Win. I'm going to let you chew on that one. Here's the 3 questions, Win, and I'll give you all of them, and then we'll go back and forth between them one at a time. So it's what's been your biggest surprise of season 97. Who has been your breakout player for the first 4 weeks? And in your opinion, is pass rush seemingly weaker, leading to low overall quarterbacks, Montez and Franks being 2 examples, being successful? So not having a pass rush, is that what is leading, or is that one of the leading causes to these quarterbacks being the most successful? I'll take the first one. My biggest surprise of this Madden or season 97. I don't know that there is a biggest surprise that sticks out to me. Oh God, Ross in the chat. Oh my God. Sorry, that was a great comment, Ross, but it's just too much. My biggest surprise has been. Part of me wants to say the negative energy, but that doesn't really surprise me because I just think as humans, we've been in a pandemic for 2 years. We tend to just like dudes at the end of their day of working at work all day and dealing with family and then logging into a Discord. And we tend to aim negative more often than positive because like it's our release, it's our place to release pressures. And I just think as humans across the board, all of us are a little bit more on edge for the pandemic for the last 2 years and all the pressures, no matter where you fall in that level of where that's put us. So, I meant to also say, I don't know why I'm inserting this here now, but we have learned tonight that Winovus. Actually, I'm going to hold that. Before we leave tonight, we're going to close. What have you learned tonight? Because I've learned some things about Winovus tonight that I think will be great. So anyway, I think that's my biggest surprise. It's just the negativity. I figured season 1, guys were starting to get plugged back in. There's some dudes here that I view as like top-level competitors, top-level contributors who've just not plugged in, and that's disappointing. And so those are the biggest surprises. Biggest surprise, season 97.
Oh geez, where biggest surprise? If you want to go outside the actual league itself, biggest surprise of season. I tell you what it is. Hi, I'm here.
That's totally fair.
There you go.
That's
there you
fair.
go. The fact that I picked up Madden 22, the fact that they suckered me into these franchise improvements, which for the most part are okay. They've left a lot to be desired in that cough scouting update. But the fact that I actually bothered to pick up Madden 22 and asked to come back and get a spot and get back into a league at all, that's my biggest surprise of season 97 is, hi, I'm here.
That's pretty good. All right. Who has been your breakout player for the first 4 weeks? You don't have one I can go with.
I tell you what, if you've got one handy, go ahead. I'm kind of looking over some numbers.
Yeah, I got to go Austin Eckler. I don't know who Eckler is. Eckler, though, 60 attempts, 441 yards, 7.3 average. Probably leads the league. I can't search by average because then it puts guys that have had one carry. But he's from the top dogs. He's averaged the highest at 7.3, 6 touchdowns. And this is from a guy who is a passer and puts up all kinds of crazy pass numbers. And that's my biggest surprise so far, with Massey being a close second, the quarterback from the Minnesota Vikings.
I tell you what, then I will go off board a little bit and give some shout out to some of those teams that don't get a lot of love. Biggest surprise looking at the board here, I'm going to go with Elijah Moore, wide receiver, New York Jets. Jets, Jets. Currently sits at 476 receiving yards and has had 100 plus yards receiving in the first 4 games of the season. Has had no less than 7 catches in the first 4 weeks of the season. Has yet to find the end zone, so that's a little bit of a disappointment. But the fact that he has been a feeder for that young quarterback, Zach Wilson, in a tough season where you've got not a lot of assets there in New York with the Jets. They are definitely a rebuilding team. A bright spot so far through 4 weeks and one of the league leaders right now. Potentially maybe a Rookie of the Year candidate, especially if he can put some touchdowns on the board. I tip a cap to Tim and the Jets, and I'll give you Elijah Moore.
Ross put add the stupid midseason patch. I've never understood, because I don't want to put words in his mouth. I know I've had similar discussions with Brady, with a couple others. Mainly Brady, I think, has been the proponent of like try not to make any changes midseason. But what do you want them to do? Leave the game broke? Not try to fix it? Not try to make it better? Like, I've never understood that concept of don't put out a midseason patch. Just leave things broke? Like, are they supposed to call the OMFL and call the NBC and call the TFL and find out where they are in their seasons before they release a patch? Come on, Ross. Come on, you're better than that. I guess I get that concept, Ross, for the frustration, but like, to be fair, Ross, you haven't had to be that frustrated with you. You've been busy, buddy. We've been the ones frustrated. You've been a little frustrated because you've been coaching. I think you're coaching. Well, maybe you're not coaching, but you're the videographer for a championship football team. Okay, let's go to, in your opinion, does pass rush being lower lead to lower overall quarterbacks? I've already said my piece about this, and it's no. I think it is high accuracy. Accuracy is so high in this Madden that it makes all quarterbacks play the same. And this is my theory. I'm not making a YouTube, well, I guess technically I'm making a YouTube video, but I'm not making a YouTube video of a conspiracy of this. They want for regular Joe Blow to pick up this controller, whether they're 14 or 44 or 74, and be able to find success playing this game very quickly, very easily. And because of that, they make all quarterbacks kind of play the same. The gap between top and bottom is very, very small. In a competitive league, I think that gap has to be widened. Now, does it help? Yes, Trey. I think it totally helps them play better, but I don't think it's the leading cause. I think the leading cause is quarterback accuracy, but I'm pretty sure Wynn's going to have some passionate feelings.
I don't know about passionate feelings, but I think the pass rush is a piece of the puzzle.
Yeah.
It's a big piece of the puzzle because pass rush affects so many other things and other attributes that are in the game that aren't really getting affected as much. Things like your throw under pressure rating, things like your actual traits that you have, like paranoid sense pressure, oblivious sense pressure, those things. All those things kick in if you get pressure, and without getting that pressure, now it's relying on the ratings of the player as far as their throw accuracy ratings. And I do think, to your point, throw accuracy is a thing that needs to be lowered. I think you need to drop the bar a little bit and make those elite level quarterbacks, as far as accuracy numbers, feel like elite level quarterbacks, and make those guys that maybe have because the way I look at accuracy is basically that rating is out of 100%, that's how accurate you are. So short accuracy, Jacob Eason, 81% of the time, I feel like he should make an accurate throw. If everything is nice in the pocket, all comfy, he should make an accurate throw 81% of the time, and he should sell a ball every once in a while. Every quarterback should. But that's the way I feel about the rating. So the deep accuracy of 73, that means that if I have a good time in the pocket and I throw a ball, 3 times out of 4, I should put it where I want it, and then it's up to the receiver to get it. So I do think that quarterback accuracy being lowered is part of it, but I do think that pass rush does affect the movement and the ability of the player in other ways that we don't think about and look at, from strictly an accuracy rating, because that's kind of what we've been focused on in the board area. To kind of pull the curtain back a little bit, is we've been worried more about the accuracy. Not that we haven't been worried about pass rush. We definitely know pass rush is broken. The problem with pass rush is we've tried a whole bunch of different things and nothing seems to work, or it somewhat works, or it kind of works, or it works half the time, and it's very inconsistent. But with accuracy, that could be something that's consistent. But again, like you said earlier, Nate, it's finding that fine line between making a bad quarterback play bad and a good quarterback play good, and then making every quarterback, good or bad, play bad. That's what we don't want. We want the good to play good. We want the bad to play bad. And I think quarterback accuracy is a big key component, but pass rush is not something that you can just go, well, that's not important. It is important. It's just we don't know how to fix that, and we can fix quarterback accuracy.
And we've said this in board. I think I said it in the chat when we were all kind of talking the other day. This pains me to say. I think Maniac is right. I think the slider isn't 0 for unbelievable pass rush. I think it's 100, so it's quote unquote backwards. Is it backwards or not? We don't really know because they don't really explain how the sliders work. I do think at 100, this is my personal opinion, it's what we're testing. It's just a theory, could be proven wrong. I think at 100, you get the best opportunity for pass rush, but it isn't a fix. It doesn't fix it because the game itself plays inconsistent. Kobe and I played, we had fun pressure. What felt like fun pressure. There was guys coming up the middle, but it wasn't crazy. It was like 4 sacks in the whole game, right? And then I think Raj played Smash later that night, or literally 10 minutes after or whatever it was. And they had no sacks the entire game with Rams versus Tampa Bay or something like that. So it's just the game itself plays super inconsistent. And so for pass rush, it's become very, very hard to figure out. And I do think no matter what slider we have, Some weeks you're going to play and you're going to be like running for 200 yards and you're like, oh, running's too easy. And then you're going to play the next week. We wouldn't have made a change. And you're like, oh, running's too hard now. It's just the gameplay is super inconsistent. I think game plan plays a big factor. There's a lot of things. All right, let's get to Denbrew. He says, first time, long time. Not true, Denbrew. You have called before. Your team is down 6-win, 2 minutes to go, no timeouts. You're the coach or you're the owner. Which coach would you put on the field in the OMFL to lead your team to a game-winning drive, and why?
Okay. So down 6, 2 minutes to go, no timeouts. Basically, which person in the OMFL would I want holding the sticks to get me a victory?
Yep.
Okay. I could answer the easy one. I could.
Yeah, you could.
I could just say D-Money. But you know what? I'm not gonna, because that's too easy. So I tell you what I'm gonna do. I think what I would do is I want somebody who can sling the rock. I want somebody who has a great passing attack, no matter what team he has. Somebody who understands concepts for passing, especially getting out of bounds, stopping the clock, moving the ball down the field, and being aggressive about it, but being smart aggressive. Give me Chargers. Give me Colin.
I like that call. Yep, I like that call. I gotta go. I gotta be the boring guy. I'm taking Dwayne. He doesn't turn the ball over. He is the king, and I'm telling you, the king of shotgun runs on 2nd and long to pick up 15, and just like you go from I got him to what the F just happened? Like how? Like 30 seconds ago, I had him. How did he go? God dang it. I'm taking Dwayne. He's never going to turn the ball over. He's going to call those runs that get him good plays. He's going to manage the time clock. And you're going to get to the end and you're going to be like, there was nothing I could do to stop him. And it's just unbelievable. Dwayne says he's ready for Outlaw to get his PS5. Shout out to Outlaw. Thanks, Dwayne. Doesn't count as a question. Won't be accepting that. Number 2, is the biggest surprise this far this season Chiefs at 1-3. We know how good a coach Penguins is, and we know what weapons he has. Any thoughts? So did the Chiefs fall as your biggest surprise this season?
For negative, yes. For where, because early in the season I projected them to be either in the hunt or owning the AFC West. They are currently in the basement of the AFC West, and I think a lot of it stems from a lack of pass rush. I think a lot of it stems from he's still trying to figure out how to generate some pressure, perhaps. Maybe a little bit of a change in scheme is needed. Because I will say from my personal experience, I've played 3 games so far. I've gotten 8 sacks. I haven't been lights out, dominating as far as blowing people off the ball. But if a guy sits back there for 3, 4, 5 seconds, they're gonna get sacked by my interior defensive lineman. My interior defensive lineman Grover Stewart's been eaten. He's got 4 sacks in 3 games, so he's been the beneficiary of that interior pass rush, and he's not a great pass rusher. I know the Chiefs have Chris Jones in there. I think it's just a matter of maybe scheming some coverages and getting some coverage sacks, because that's what I call a defensive lineman sack. It's a coverage sack. There's no way he's blowing people off the ball in 1.5 seconds and getting to the quarterback unless he's Aaron Donald. And even Aaron Donald's not doing that. But I think for negative, the biggest negative surprise is the Chiefs at 1-3. With that offense, I know he traded Mecole Hardman to, I want to say it was the Browns. Washington? Okay. I knew it was somebody because he traded for Montez Sweat. You're right. Yeah, Montez Sweat. It hit me. I remember seeing that trade. I think they have a lot of questions they need to answer, just like the real life Chiefs. I think they have a lot of questions they need to answer on defense. I think their secondary might need some help and some work. I think their pass rush, if they can get that secondary under control, would be elite. And if they can get that secondary to where they cover and get some sacks from Jones and that interior, then the Chiefs are going to crawl back up the standings real quick. But I think right now at 1-3, that is a big surprise. And if I'm the Chiefs, I'm kind of in a little bit of panic mode right now. I've got to figure out something fairly quick to get some answers as far as how to generate pressure, because what I was doing in Madden 21 or Madden 20 ain't working right now, and I got to figure it out.
Multiple part answer. Message to Penguins. This isn't personal. Save your passionate DM rant paragraph to Nate about how I frustrated you. This isn't personal. This isn't like Nate doesn't like me. Here, I've told many people this, including Ross. We've had this conversation. Ross and I have had lots of ugly conversations. Maniac and I have had this conversation. I've had this conversation with people. If I didn't like you, there's no reason to keep you here. Like, there's no carrot. Like, this is my league. I built it. I run it. I make the decisions. If I don't want someone here, I'll get rid of you. I want you here. So if you play here, it's because I want you here. It's because I want you to have fun here. I try to create a fair experience for you, all that fun stuff. So there's my disclaimer to all of you with the crosshair comment and the out to get me comment and you never liked me and never wanted me here. All these things I've heard before. Like, it doesn't exist. Okay, these are in your head. These are narratives that you've created about me that aren't real. Not that Penguins doing.
Can I piggyback on that real quick?
It set me off on a rant, please, because just so y'all know, and he'll probably admit it right now, Win is the opposite.
Yeah.
He doesn't care. He'll cut your nuts off, and he'll sleep well at night. He'll probably sleep even more comfy because he's got a pillow full of old nuts that he's cut off, and they're nice and soft and wrinkled, and he fluffs them up and he goes to sleep all night.
Okay, that got weird really quick. Actually, what I was going to say is to those people that are listening to this, whether it's right now in chat, whether it's you listening after the fact, I left OMFL mad at Nate 4 years ago, and I came back, and he welcomed me back with open arms. If that doesn't tell you how Nate feels about this league and whether or not you can help, if he wants you here, you're here. I don't know what else I can tell you. When I left 4 years ago, I didn't leave on the greatest of terms. I left it on okay terms. I don't know how Nate remembers it, but I remember it as I felt like I left on burning bridges. And for me to come back 4 years later and say, hey, I'm wanting to play Madden again. I don't want to run a league. I don't want leadership. I don't want anything to be in charge. I was like, can I join Grown Folks again? And he said, absolutely. Would love to have you. Didn't hesitate, didn't hold a grudge, said, "What we would love to have you here. We know he knows what I can do content-wise," and he welcomed me back with open arms. And like I said, if that doesn't tell you what kind of guy Nate is as far as caring about this league and caring about the people in it, then you're never going to get the message.
That is a very big compliment that I'll take. I will also say, Win is my family, like my real life family, and my first cousin who I grew up with and who I have cherish a lot of memories from my childhood, which a lot of you don't know my story. It was not a storybook childhood. It was very rough, and Win represents a fun time for me in my life. And so, like, all of you are not Win, and so Win gets a little bit more love, mercy, and grace than the rest of you. To be fair,
yes.
But
to be fair, Blood does get a little bit more. Yeah, but
sells himself as like a crumpy old man, but we actually get along really well together in person. Now, online we have our moments, but when we're together in person and like talking to each other, we're actually really good. So there's that.
Yes.
And I would say the only time I thought you burned a bridge wasn't when you left the first time, because I actually was like, yeah, he wants to do his own thing. Totally get it. And when you came back here and tried to sell me that you just wanted to be an owner, I was like, yeah, that's never going to happen. That's not Win. We got to find something for him to do here because he's going to go nuts. But it was when you rejoined for 3 weeks or whatever and played in the deuce. And I think your exact words to me were, I'm just here to learn what I got to learn, and then I'm going to take it over there. And I was like, my God, that hurts. Why? Anyway, so here's my message to Penguins. Not personal, buddy. And when I say this, it isn't that you're not playing your games, you're not scheduling. So when I say what I'm about to say, it isn't that you're not doing what you're supposed to. I just don't think you're engaged. And so it doesn't surprise me that he's 1-3 because he's not plugged in. And I know when people hear plugged in, they think, oh, he's not trying to play. He's not giving any effort. No, he's doing all that, but he's not engaged. I don't see him in chat. I don't see him passionate. I don't see him making trades. Maybe he is, and I'm just missing it. But the old Penguins that used to be on the board here, I'm not seeing that guy. And maybe it's life. Maybe he isn't having fun. I don't know what the deal is. There's no assumptions for me at all. But when he gets engaged, when he finally, and he may never, right? But if he decides to engage, it's going to be scary. Plus, he doesn't have a Saquon Barkley on this team, which he dominated with. His backup running back, rookie Edwards-Helaire, took a big hit in speed. I think he was 90 last Madden. He's like 86 or 87 this Madden. That's going to hurt him.
Speed boost this year.
Yeah. Oh, he got a speed boost?
Mm-hmm. He was an 85 last year.
Oh, well, there you go. I'm totally wrong. Well, there you go. He got 2 more points, but that's going to hurt you because you that's your best running back. He doesn't have a defense that's set up to be his style just yet, and I think he's going to have to make some moves to kind of get that team to play the style that Penguins get. So it doesn't surprise me because I don't think it's the exact same team that he dominated all of us with in Madden 21. All right, let's get to his last question. This show has ran long, but that's okay. We had fun tonight. His last question is for you, Wim. Is Jacob Eason the future quarterback for the Colts? I know the Colts are young and talented. You choose him over Wentz, or is he your future?
In a word, yes. Right now, Wentz, the difference between Wentz and Eason is so negligible for my type of offense that I like Wentz as a backup quarterback or a spark plug if I start to see the offense falter. But right now, the way the offense has been playing, which hasn't been great to be fair, but Eason has gotten us some wins. He's gotten us some touchdowns and some field goals off of turnovers, so he's done what we've asked him to do. And Wentz right now is kind of really, he's 28 years old. In Madden terms, he's a fossil. And he is currently getting paid $23 or $24 million to be a fossil. And next year he jumps to 27. And I know from experience that after this year, once I get to the off season, I can cut him and get $27 million of cap space for no penalty. So I'm basically holding Wentz for the year. Wentz is on his rookie deal, or not Wentz, I'm sorry. Eason is on his rookie deal right now. I've got him for 3 more years, this one and 2 more, and then I can make a decision. If Eason completely craps the bed over the next couple of games, which, I mean, considering who the user is, that is very well a possibility. But to be fair, if I had Aaron Rodgers, I could crap the bed. So it doesn't really, that's not in the equation. But if Eason just completely can't execute the game plan and completely falters to the point where I feel like I need to get a new quarterback, I will. But for right now, Eason's my guy because I'm really enjoying Jonathan Taylor back there in the backfield. I've got a nice wide receiver core with Paris Campbell, Michael Pittman, Deion Kane, who I loved from Madden 19, and he is performing just as well, if not better, than he did in Madden 19 for me. When in the WFL, I had him get over 1,000 yards and like 10 touchdowns in Rookie of the Year, and he just went ballistic in WFL. And that's with me at the helm, so that should tell you something. I have a lot of weapons. Tight end has never been a strong point for me, so I don't have great tight ends, but that's never been a focal point in my offense anyway. I mainly focus wide receivers and backfield. So I think Eason fits the mold of what we're looking for offensively, and basically my game plan is score. My thing is, my philosophy has been for a decade plus, and it hasn't worked that well for a decade plus, so you think I'd have changed it by now. Is if I score 20 points before you, I'm going to win 90% of my ball games. If I get to 20 points before you do, you're going to have a tough time getting to 20 points. I'm going to make you claw, dig, and scratch for those 20 points to beat me. If you get to 20 before I do, I'm probably going to lose 90% of those games because I don't have the offensive philosophy to come back from something like that. So basically it's a race to 20 points. If I get there first, you're probably going to lose. If you get there first, you're probably going to win. and Eason can get me to 20 points first, I feel like, more often than not, with the way the defense is currently playing. If the defense stops playing this well, all bets are off.
But you heard it straight from the horse's mouth. Ross, I have no clue what you're talking about, Bubba. So if you share the link in YouTube, it actually doesn't let you post links. So you might see it, but I can't see it. I think Bill crossed that. So you have to send that link some other way. And Mo, it's so good to see you. I have deep love and appreciation for Mo. He probably doesn't believe it, but it's the truth. I wish I talked to Mo every single day. I wish Mo played here. I could use a Mo or two here. I just love everything about you, Mo. I love your energy. I love the fact that you don't owe. I'm a nobody from nowhere, and you pop in here every single time with my dudes. Like, all these dudes play here. They have a reason to come listen to me yap, but you don't. You just do it because you're a good dude. I love you, Mo, so it's good to see you. All right, let's talk about what we learned today. And Trey, you're here being a creeper, hanging out, so you might as well tell us what you learned today, too. Matter of fact, we're going to start with you. Trey, what'd you learn today?
What did I learn? I learned that I am in for a rough go, and my challenge has been accepted. I threw the challenge down for the NFC North to be competitive. I played 2 of my 3. I got the next one up next. It's been competitive, and I'm enjoying it.
You got to give me 1 second, guys, because I don't know why all of a sudden my headphones decided to turn themselves off. And now I think I'm back. So I missed everything that Trey said, but I'm going to take it that it was good. And I don't know if I cut you off. So if I didn't cut you off, Trey, you can finish.
No.
If I didn't cut you off, then when I want to find out what you learned today. And I'm going to have to go back and watch the show to find out what Trey learned today.
Well, Trey learned that he's going to have a competitive division. That's what Trey learned, basically.
I learned my challenge got accepted.
Yes. What did I learn today? I don't ever learn anything on these. I just learn. I don't know.
I never learned anything on these.
I don't ever. I mean, I learned that the OMFL does show out for these things. I've learned that. Of course, I knew that from previous broadcasts. So, seeing as many guys as we have in here, which I mean, 6 of them, including myself, that's quite a bit. That's 1/6 or almost close to 20% of the league. So, and then you have I don't know what I'm looking at. So whatever. I see something on his phone on the screen, and I'm like, I have no idea what that is.
That's the guy. That's the guy that Ross is trying to figure out who it is.
Oh, okay. Well, I learned that I don't know anything about that. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. Ha 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 ha. I've learned that Ross likes 12. I learned that Ross likes a bad D's nuts joke. So that does that qualify? Does that qualify? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it does.
I barely learn anything on this. I just show up and I try to be mildly entertaining, and I fail most of the time. So that's my job.
So fun. I learn as we continue our 12-year-old jokes that we have. I learned that by Smash, I thought Smash left an hour ago. I learned that Win knows nothing about nipples. Go ahead and take that statement out of context. He knows nothing about nipples, and there was another joke in there that I forgot in the moment that he said it, and I was trying to hold on to it, and I lost it, and the nipples one was the only one. It was something about balls that was kind of funny. I did learn that maybe guys are open to suggesting quarterback accuracy. I did learn that it's good to have all you guys back. And I know I said this last time, because last time I did Press Pass Live, I'd been home for 3 days. I've now been home for a week. I worked my first Saints game, which was terrible, and just like had my first normal week of life after a month. And I love this. I do. And even when it's just me and like poor Win is the only guy in chat talking to me, like I don't care. It's still fun, and I love doing these. And I've got like, you guys have seen me create what you see here. I'm already sick of it, and I seen someone actually pay like a company to create this like amazing new thing. And I was like, I want that. And I tried to find out how much that was, and it was $5,000. And I was like, oh, I don't want that anymore. I'm going to just create my own. So I already got some things in the works, maybe for the real life 2022 that I'll unveil that I'm going to work on. So I can't wait to kind of do that. It's fun. I know that you guys are frustrated with pass rush. I know you're frustrated with patches, and I get it. Like, stop worrying about the scouting patch. We're playing our first season, so we've got a lot of time before we got to worry about it. And so, like, let's find some reasons to have fun. And I get it. Like, place is going to rant and rave, and we're always going to be doing that. You know, it's got to be a place where people can get out frustrations. I understand. Watch me. I try to be the happy guy. And if you've seen my last 3 games, I'm about ready to shoot myself in the face. Even my guy Mo, who's probably the second nicest guy I know outside of D. Wayne, was like, hey, I know that you're playing like crap right now, but it's so good to see your face. Like, even he's like, this guy's not in a good place right now. Madden put you in a bad place sometimes, but I love it. I love running the OMFL. I love logging into Discord and reading the BS, and I love FPR court. And I love arguing with Win about my ideas and his ideas and our ideas. Like, I love all of it. I really do. And I hope that you guys are having fun. So we'll see you next Press Pass Live, where we will have a hot seat. We'll have an OMFL hot seat. We're going to start bringing back all 22 at the OMFL Experts Show, where we bring on an OMFL expert to come share. And I think our first one's going to be Maniac. I got to set that up with Maniac. He's going to share how he does his great screenshots. If you've ever seen Maniac screenshots, let's go ahead and see if we can let you see a couple of them. Oh, that's not going to be it. Let's go over here. Maniac is really good at these, and he puts a lot of time and effort to get really good shots. And he actually sends me some of the best shots. That quarterback Maniac, make it stop, please. That's the most ridiculous thing that you do. So yeah, we're going to get him on here to share how he does these, how he thinks about plays and all that fun stuff. So guys, have a great rest of your week. I love you. Be good to one another. I got to start making content for my church this week and for my personal website this week. It's time to start finding my rhythm again. So be looking out in the Discord for some of that. But we'll see you next week. Until then, have a great rest of your week. And we'll see you. Okay? Peace. I hit the wrong button again. And now it's not saying starting soon, which is not what I want. I don't want it to say starting soon. Hold on, now it's all coming back, guys. Just give me a second. It'll all be back here in 1 second. Come on back. Is it coming back? I don't know what it's doing. I don't know. Does this work? Is this what I'm wanting to do? What happens when I press this button?